Hello, hello. Today we are going over some testing that I did for the LuBu formation. Right now I'm in season 3 and my LuBu formation consists of LuBu, Guan Yu and Attila. Last time when I did this test was somewhere around season 2 mid, and the results were different at that moment, and what I recommended there is not valid anymore, at least partially. So what did I test? I wanted to clarify what adornment should you choose for the LuBu formation. And here, if you are a free-to-play player, if you are unlucky or any other reason, you should look for the traits in your adornment. I'll go here under Guan Yu, and the most relevant trait to have for your adornment is resistance. So that should be your target. If you are lucky and manage to get an adornment with boiling blood, yes, this is the best adornment that you can have for LuBu, and I will repeat, for LuBu. I have not yet tested how boiling blood will work on Guan Yu, Attila, if I will add them. That will be a separate video. Please subscribe if you want to be notified later when I will do that test. As of now, the bases are like that. LuBu, boiling blood, second hero, third hero, resistance. And what I'm saying right now applies for season 2, season 3. Season 4 will have different heroes, and there I will need to recheck. So, having that as the basis, we'll go over my testing and my results. If you want just the results, you can go near to the end, and it's not just a simple straightforward go with that. It is with a lot of depends. So first about my formation. My LuBu equipment, it's all 4 stars full. LuBu has level 60 boiling blood with still need to work on this. I have it on hold because not all of my adornments are level 60, and my focus right now is to get all of them at level 60. Guan Yu equipment still have to work a little on gauntlet, but I will go over my testing because from 2 days ago, yesterday, my account went through some changes, meaning I finally managed to get this to 4 stars. I got also some other upgrades. So what you see right now in terms of equipment, in terms of power, has changed compared to when I did the testing, but you'll see the testing information pretty soon. And for Attila, it's the same as for the Guan Yu. I still need to do the gauntlet. The horses, better let's go over the data. Okay, so in the right side we have the methodology of testing. Testing was done with LuBu, Guan Yu, Attila, cavalry formation. This will go later on. We have a group that sets the basis for the test, and the test level we change only the adornment. So if we are looking on the left side, we see the grouping, and on the right side we see specific tests with exactly what changed. For each test I did 20 attacks. LuBu had full 4-star equipment. Guan Yu has 3-star gauntlet and the rest are 4 stars, so Guan Yu was like that. Attila has gauntlet 3 stars, boots 4 stars minus less small fragment. I did that in this morning, and the rest 4 stars. For the test groups G0, G1, G2, G3, LuBu used horse with army sander 9%, that had might 2.3 and strategy 3.4. Keep those in mind, and also you'll see for every test that I have a screenshot with exactly the might, strategy, every stat that the formation had. If you want to replicate them, go with those stats, and yeah, you can do it. For G4, we continue to use Attila defense Adornment level 4 with resistance. That's, I think, a tell on the conclusion. A spoiler, a big spoiler. Okay, let's see the test. The first test, here we get the results, here we see the stats. However, I do not feel like those are those are important. Let's go a little over it. This was this test can be ignored. I have it just for the record. However, you notice that here it's 397 pikes. I used the exploration boss to do the testing, and I did a mistake after doing the first 20, changing the Adornment and so on. I was having T8 troops and managed to kill the tribes. So I needed to wait for another day in order to do it again. However, in that day, I did the test again with the exploration boss and with archers. And this was pretty interesting test. Let's go under G2 T1 and G2 T2. T2. Mixing languages. G2 T1. We can see that we have an average of 221,000 troops killed. This is what points represents. If I'm going to the setup, we can see here the formation had 379k T7 archers, and the points, see here, points represents the amount of troops killed in combat from the tribes, and time represents the fight duration. So all of the data is stored. Later on I can compare. Basically my intent is have this data, I will do some upgrades to the account, do a new standard, see what's the delta, and continue from there. This will work from now on pretty well, I hope. At least that's my thinking. Going back to the test. This is for archers, and this is also for archers. Here we have the defense adornment. See that attack bonus is smaller, and my defense 508, 521. My health is pretty big, and the stats for all of the heroes. And what I noticed while having this test was pretty interesting. Against archers, the minimum and maximum kills are trying to find the word, are bigger than compared when doing the test with pikemans. And this is why the next day I continue only to do with pikemans. I will try to do also a test versus cavalry. I will expect similar results to pikemans, but we'll see. The idea in the end is, if you are testing LuBu, don't do the test with archers, because the data may not be so reliable, and the ranges may be all over the place. Taking that into account, Let's see. So here we have Attila with attack adornment level 40 versus Attila with attack with defense adornment level 40. By the way, you seen that LuBu had Boiling Blood level 60. Guan Yu had attack adornment level 40, and did I have that noted here? I have not noted that, but taking consideration Guan Yu had the attack adornment, and this did not change during the complete testing. With the new tests, Guan Yu will have resistance and resistance adornment. Again, spoiler. We'll need to go over the points. Here, let's change, remove. So I'm interested in G1, T1 versus G1, T2. And what we can see, there is a better set of results when using, so T1 it's attack, T2 is defense. We have better consistent results when using the attack adornment, and there have been some exception on the higher end with the defense adornment. Most probably the troops lasted longer, and they managed to do more damage in the end. This is the raw data for the damage dealt. Here is ordered by the minimum to the maximum. We can see with the defense we have this total that's pretty big. With the attack, no. So what do we conclude from this? My conclusion from this is, if you have an adornment that is up to level 40, do an attack adornment, or just don't stress about it. The difference it's pretty minimal, so we can see the difference, it's 3 percentages less on the defense adornment compared to the attack adornment. Basically this is the average, this is the maximum between averages, and afterwards I will do, this is the formula that calculates what's the difference in percentages between those two values. So keeping that in mind, this conclusion is consistent with what I recommended to the players from my kingdom, from my alliance initially in season 2. Go with attack adornments. Unless you are a whale kraken that can do adornments level 60 fast, okay, in that case wait for the later part of the video. However, if you are free to play, that I suppose even in season 3 you'll not have level 60 adornments full, most probably it is better to go with attack adornments, or don't stress about it. I will reiterate, use the resistance trait as the primary adornment trait that you want to put on your formation. Hopefully this is understandable right now. If you have anything to add, comments, leave them in the comment section of the video and we can start a discussion. By the way, this is something that will come pretty soon. I'm working on a Discord server so we can chat on those tests, on the results, and how we can build the best formation based on the resources that we currently have. Because all of the tests that I've seen right now are missing the setup and do not really apply for all the players. Also, my test will not apply to all the players. Keep that in mind, because I cannot test. I mean, I can, but I don't have the time, the energy in order to do all of those tests for all of the scenarios. So I will try to handle at least what I feel it's most important. if I get feedback that, okay, you guys want to test something specific, let me know. If we get enough people interested, then it also makes sense for me. By the way, if you want to thank me for my work, just a subscribe to the channel, a like to the video goes a long way. Okay, a lot of parentheses here. The conclusion from this test is pretty simple. Attack Adornment or don't care about it. The difference is minimal, so it's up to you to decide at that level. Next, the Archer test, I said, was pretty inconsistent, so that's a good thing to know if you are starting to do testing with cavalry. Don't test against archers. Next test, the group 3 that uses spikes and has Attila with attack adornment and Attila with defense adornment. Going over the all points, changing for G3 T1, G3 T2, and let's see the results. I need to scroll. Okay. And this is pretty interesting to see. The attack adornment and the red representing the defense adornment are this level 60. G3T1, G3T2, those are the columns that we are interested in. The average damage was 184, something like that, and average damage here 206,000. And the difference between an attack and the defense adornment was around 11%. So this is your conclusion right now. If you are going to adornment level 60, go with defense adornment. Hopefully my spoilers from earlier didn't really ruin this conclusion, but that's it. Let's go over the times, because also that's very important. Remove all series and add 3-1 and add T2. Okay, what? Something see X axis. No, nothing on the X. Undo. undo. Okay. Let's pay. I click on the wrong things. T2. I think it's pretty obvious why we get more damage on the defense adornment versus on the attack adornment, because the time in the fight it's consistently higher, and it is consistently higher with around 6% more time spent in the fight while having the defense adornment versus the attack adornment. By the way, this number represents the difference, so it's 6.75% less. This is the average for the defense, this is the average for the attack adornment. And also I have a graph here that shows the damage per time. It is just a fun experiment that I wanted to try, because the damage is not consistent. You'll have 1 second that does, I don't know, 20,000 damage. You'll have 1 second that does 300 damage. Just saying some random numbers there, but that's to support the idea. And here is the amount of damage per time. And you can see for the defense adornment, it is higher, because again, the troops last longer in the fight. And with that, we can conclude the adornment battle. Should you go attack? Should you go defense? To reiterate, if you have adornment that reaches level 40, go with attack, or just don't stress about it. If you have Adornment that goes over level 60 or level 40, in that case go with defense Adornment. And what's the difference here? Go under the Adornment. This is what makes the difference. Starting with level 40, you have the troop damage taken reduction. This is the trait, let's call it, of the defense Adornment. Adornment troop damage taken reduction 4.5%. This is at level 60. So this makes the difference on why you should go to level 60 and why you should go with defense Adornment. Cavalry defense versus cavalry attack. Personally, you've seen the tests, it doesn't seem to be as big impact, or even I can say cavalry attack initially is more important than cavalry defense. Again, that's for my formation. You've seen my formation has almost 170% health. So yeah, your formation may not have this result in the end. If you want to go safe, most probably go with cavalry defense and upgrade. By the way, adornments can be reset. And if you did a mistake, upgraded an adornment, no worries. Remove the adornment, press on this one, and afterwards reset it. Sorry. Okay. So we've seen that cavalry health, it's both for attack and defense adornment. That's no worries. See my LuBu a little because he has attack adornment. So troop attack bonus. And why LuBu needs to have an attack adornment, by the way, if you haven't noticed or I have not said that, LuBu needs to have an attack adornment because the attack adornment at level 40 plus gives hero skill damage. LuBu does most of this damage through skill damage. Let's see some reports here. Okay, victory, comparison, stats, yeah. Normal here. Yeah, let me show you something that is not true. Let's see. Against those, does he manage to do some skill damage? No. So against tribes it's pretty this is from the Marauder. Okay, yeah, finally a report that's a real report versus players. This is how it will look. And what you can see, normal attack 5000, might skill 132,000, and this is pretty consistent. Usually what I noticed for LuBu, normal attack it's between 10 and 15% of the total amount of damage that LuBu does. That means that skill attack it's the remaining from 85 to 90%. You want that skill damage to be as higher as possible, and because the difference is so big, this is the reason why you want to go with attack adornment on LuBu, because this at level 40 plus starts to do a big difference. And if you cannot do boiling blood as the trait, go with resistance. Some other important part for my testing, just for everybody to be aware of it. If I go under the adornment, this is the attack adornment that was used in testing. Right now is level 1 because I have resetted, and you can see resistance has the second blue bar here. I wanted to show this because it is important when doing testing to have as fewer moving parts as possible. but at the same time as close as to the real formation as possible. I had some chat with the guys from the Alliance and from the Kingdom saying that, okay, we should test without equipment, but the equipment is very important. Equipment, at least at 4 stars, give you again skill damage, give you again damage reduction. The data that is the output of no equipment is, will you go in a fight with no equipment? Sure, most probably no. And your results will be different than when you have equipment. Yeah, it adds extra percentages into account that sometimes are chances, and that's not good. This is the reason why we do 20 attacks. You may have seen in my results here, let's go here, I did the average, that's from the total results, but I also did an average 10, basically taking the first results just to see if I do 10 attacks, how close is to the real average. And we can see it's pretty close. There is a difference, so more tests definitely improve your data, but you don't get too much out of doing more attacks. Same here, look, 206, 208,000. Here it's a bigger difference. So yeah, more tests definitely are better. But if you take, I don't know, 5% error, doing just 10, you can achieve good results. However, if the conclusion is 2%, where is the conclusion? 3% difference, 3% being lower than your error, that test failed. So you need to do more more tests in order to get less of an error. So your final number here, it's relevant. Okay, that's the Adornment discussion. I wanted to do also a horse trait discussion, and I will show you right now a quick review of what I did here. In my test about a month ago or even more, Army Thunder was the best trait that you could have for your formation. But why Army Thunder is the best? And this is not simple to explain. Let's start from the beginning. There are 3 traits that you want to look when choosing the trait for the LuBu horse. That's Army Thunder. Army Thunder increases all types of damage. Gallant, that increases only the might damage. And Thunderbolt, that increases the critical strike damage. So if you are considering to put a horse on LuBu, choose only between those 3 traits, even if they are green or whatever color they are. Army Thunder can reach 9%, Gallant I think can reach 10% is the maximum, and Thunderbolt, if I remember correctly, it's about 14% they can do maximum. But again, those data is in the game, you can look at that and be sure about those numbers. How you will decide what trait to use? My recommendation is filter your horses based on these traits: Army Thunder, Gallant, Thunderbolt. Afterwards, see what is the biggest percentage that you have. if you have Army Thunder at 4%, Gallant at 9.2%, Thunderbolt at 2%, let's say, choose Gallant. Choose the horse with Gallant. You'll see the results below, and you may understand why I'm recommending this. Afterwards, let's say we have all three of the horses with 9%, Army Thunder 9%, Gallant 9%, Thunderbolt 9%. Here it is a discussion and we'll go under the results to see. My overall recommendation right now remains to use Army Thunder. Again, hopefully you'll have the 9%, that's the mythical. My LuBu has a blue horse, so don't stress about the color of the horse, stress about the trait that the horse has. And you can see Armor Thunder 9%. When we are doing the filtering, how you can know what's the minimum maximum for a trait, you can press on this that goes into details, and afterwards you'll see the minimum and maximum percentages. And Gallant can be between 2.8% and 10%. Personally, and from the testing that I did, Gallant is the weakest trait that you can have for a LuBu hero. There is Fierce, mounted hero normal attack. I didn't even touch this because even if it's 22.5%, you see LuBu does 10% of his damage from normal attack. If you put, I don't know, let's say he did 10k damage, at 22%, what that does mean? It means he, instead of 10k damage, does 12.5k damage. 2.5k extra increase in real damage versus skill damage that goes in thousands. So don't ever consider Fierce as the primary trait. Thunderbolt is critical strike damage increase. By the way, guys from the Alliance, thank you very much for pointing this out. I was looking for other things. So this has between 3.78 to 14.5. So it seems that my horse has the maximum that Thunderbolt can have. And to reiterate, Thunderbolt, Gallant or Army Thunder are the main three traits that you want to look for LuBu. And here damage increase between 2.5 and 9%. So 9% is maximum that you can have there. Yeah. So let's go into the data. All points. Setup G41, G42, T3, and let's put all of those three. What we can see here, blue, that's Army Thunder, has the lowest, but here it is pretty consistent, and afterwards, yeah. Thunderbolt, it's T3, looks much better. And here is my problem, because looks much better. If we are looking at the testing for this Thunderbolt that has almost the same percentage in attack, seems that the armor from here has a pretty big impact on the results, because once I start to add in my graph the 15% Thunderbolt, the 15% Thunderbolt, it's almost at the same level with the Army Thunder. So the results right now are pretty inconsistent because of that. And I need to design a new test to somehow try to have my formation with pretty similar might in the end, pretty similar strategy, pretty similar armor. Hopefully Siege does not have any impact on the combat. It shouldn't, but we don't know what the game has in the end. So let's see here. Those are the stats while I had the army Thunder. Those have been the stats while I have the Gallant. Those are the stats while I have the Thunder, however it's called, and with 9.80%. And these are the stats when I had the Thunder, how it's called, Thunderbolt, okay, at 15%. 15, no, 14.5. Yes, 14.5. So go back in the video, look at every percentage, compare them, and see what's happening there. Good. We can see that, and all points. I will remove this. And personally, let's do something different. Let's do it like this. Because, as I was saying, the armor, this is my consideration right now. I need again to do more testing to confirm, but the 10 armor that existed on this horse skewed the results that made the formation last longer in the combat, even 1 second, even 2 seconds more. And yeah, by the way, the test it's about against a 380k T7 pikes with 157 700 T1 troops, because if I was using T7 T8, my formation would last few time because I need to use fewer troops. And yeah, good. And what do we see here? The army Thunder, from my point of view, looks the best. The Gallant, I will not do any more testing with it. I feel it's pretty obvious that here is G42, it's 7.5% less damage overall in average. So yeah, he's out. The percentage, it's more than 5% that I'm happy to say, okay, maybe that's an error, maybe something like that. No, 7%, it's already obvious that Gallant is not the right trait to have on your LuBu. So the fight, let's say like that, will be between Army Thunder and Thunderbolt. Which one should you choose for LuBu? And you have the raw data right now. You can pause the video here, do copy it, do whatever you want with the data, and make your own conclusions. For me, I will say right now, I do not have a clear conclusion. I'll continue to use Army Thunder for the moment, 9%, but we'll need to look more. Here, let's see on the timing. So 41, 42, and let's add 34. In the timing, as you can see, for all of those, it's pretty similar. So the amount of time the troops stayed in combat while having all of those traits are pretty similar. You can see this is the best when they have the Thunderbolt, an average of 61.05 seconds was the maximum, and afterwards there is almost 2% less, almost 3% less, almost 1% less. This is part of the error. You can say, okay, all of those horses when they fought in that formation had similar times. But at the point, that's a different story. And let's add to this graph the T3. And you can see the T3, it's pretty consistent with them, but it's a little on the higher side. This is why I'm saying the armor most probably did an impact that made the troops last a little longer, so the results are better. Because what doesn't make sense for me? Those two are both with Thunderbolt, and the results from here are almost the same as the results from here, or even less. Yeah, hopefully you get the point. So this test I will need to redo it. Yeah, that's the video. It was a pretty long one. Hopefully you are now more informed. And yeah, what can I say? Have fun in game. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, give a like to this video, and see you next time.